Loud. All right, sweet. Did it say recording in progress?
It did.
All right, technology. I guess it's recording to the elusive cloud. Where the
Ooh.
hell is that gonna go? I don't know.
Dun dun
Hopefully
dun
we'll
dun. No wonder it rains so damn much. You keep putting shit in the clouds.
yeah. Oh gosh. Okay, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Welcome, Brett.
Welcome, Tom. It's nice to see you.
It's great to see you. School's back in, so that's been fun.
Yay.
How are your gentlemen doing?
My guys are good. Yeah, nothing real new. Everything is a-okay.
Mm-hmm. So after you go through a change, whether that's moving to a new location, change in a relationship, change of status, change of job, there's a bit of time acclimating to the new environment. And so, that's filled with both, apprehension, anxiety, and also excitement and newness, and all that's pretty good. But after a period of time, when the dust finally settles, then and you've acclimated to the new place, I guess it's time to kind of take stock in how does this feel? So, you've made a significant change. So, how does this feel to you?
Right. It has been quite the whirlwind of probably a good 9 months to a year of fixing up, packing up, selling one house, moving into a new house. Oh, in the middle of that, let's get a new job. Uh,
Yeah.
moving to a new town. Yeah, and it has been, there's ups and downs with that. They say, what is it, like top 10 stressful things in your life?
Yeah.
Moving and new job are two of them in the top five or top 10. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, it really went well for me. I mean, there were some times where it was like, okay, I've had enough of this. Uh, but it's good, it's good to settle into new. I love the whole newness of stuff. I love new beginnings. I talk to people about they're afraid to do stuff, and I'm like, you're always going to regret the things you didn't do as opposed to the things you did do.
Right.
And nothing is forever, I didn't know if I was going to like this new town and this new area, and it's cool. I get to explore new restaurants and new stores and a new area that
Mhm.
I've never been before. So it's fun. I mean, I enjoy that aspect of it. It can be stressful, but you got to ride the wave. We tell our patients all the time, you just ride the wave, and
Yeah.
everything will settle in. You don't have all the answers to everything, and that's okay. Don't need to have all the answers right now. You'll figure it out as you go along.
Which do you think you like better since you've had both experiences? One, having like time to accept the change and work towards it, and like making small little changes along the way, because this last process for you it took a long period of time.
Mhm,
I mean, essentially, like what, 2 years? I mean, like cultivating and making changes. What
mhm.
and or do you prefer the quick, like maybe it's a crisis situation, or maybe it's just like a quick move within the period of, less than a week or maybe less than a month or something,
Right.
and then you have to quickly like acclimate to the newness. I mean, which is better for you? I mean,
Well, that's a tough question. I wish it would have went a little faster than it did. Like you said, it took 2 years. I mean, I had to plan a career change. I had to plan a job change. I had to, divest, get rid of a house and figure out and downsize and figure out where all that stuff's going. And, I wasn't the only person affected here. I had the family members that were affected. So,
yeah.
it was about 2 years in the making, and it seemed like it took forever. That was a little bit too long. I wish it would have moved a little bit faster, but yeah,
Yeah.
it is what it is. And but again, I'm a planner, so I have to have things kind of in a line. So that
Mhm.
last minute stuff is not always the best for me. But I would have made it work. I'm pretty adaptable. I'm pretty go with the flow kind of guy. I don't get flapped very easily at all. So, um, yeah, I would have liked something a little bit more in the middle, but it is
Yeah.
what it is. I'm not
Yeah.
complaining. It's good, and I'm enjoying the new. I have a new pool to figure out. Every pool is really it's a individual personality in and of itself, and
Yeah.
I had that last pool for what 8 years and did fine with it, and this one gave me a run for my money, man. Both of them. I've been working on that pool every day, but I finally got it back to where it needs to be. So.
Yeah. Have you had to have Charlie and Levi come out and fix stuff here and there?
Well, I had a leak in the pool, so I had to have a professional come in, leak
Yeah.
detection, and I had to fix the leak, or they fixed the leak. So they did all that, but and I had to drain half the pool in order for that to happen. So that was the hard
Mhm.
part, is filling half the pool back in, and then getting that balance right in the new water. You've introduced a bunch of new water into what was a stable environment. So it took me about over a week, like 10 days to get that
Mm.
thing. I thought I had it. It was getting close. And then I woke up one morning and it's like green pea soup. And I was like, what the hell is this?
Oh.
So it was starting from ground zero again. And
And it's been
uh,
hot, so you've needed it.
yeah, it has been. And I will admit, man, I'm not too proud to say I was been working on that pool outside. It's hot and I just jump in a algae pool. I don't care.
Yeah. Screw
Then
it.
I
I'll
run it.
shower off afterwards.
I'll run it and take a shower afterwards. But
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
I'm in the camp where I like change to happen quickly.
Mm,
Like if we're planning a move, like when we had the house built, it was taking longer than of course anticipated.
mm,
And so we had several months in order to do it, and it kept getting pushed back. So it took like, 6 months longer than, and like I just want to like get shit over with. I just want to make it happen and get into the new environment, make the change, and then adapt to it as I'm going along. And for some reason, I prefer that. So if I need to make like a diet change, like for me, it needs to be an overhaul. I know that maybe baby steps are more consumable, literally and figuratively, but I like for me, in order to be like motivated or stay motivated and stay disciplined to it, it needs to be like a complete drastic overhaul. And I know some people are not like that. Some people really need to have that time to really settle into it and prepare and
mhm.
make small changes along the way that lead to big changes. I mean, there's pros and cons to both.
Sure. And you just figure out what is more your style. Everyone has their different style. I don't like to wait that long, but I have to plan it out. I have to think it through. I have to go through the pros and cons. I have to think of the potential pitfalls. I have to try to plan for that. I've
Hmm.
always said I play life as a chess game. So
Yeah.
every move, I'm like, what if I do this, then this could happen. If I do this, then this might happen. And if this
Mhm.
happens, then I have to do this. And so it
Yeah.
can be exhausting to play that game on and on, but
Yeah.
that's how I do that. But that's funny. We are at the point in our lives, and we see a lot of people around our age that, we start to sit up and take stock about what the heck is really going on in my life, right?
Mhm.
We look up and we have more years behind us than we do ahead of us.
Yeah.
We hit that proverbial midlife crisis, whatever that means.
Hmm.
But and COVID, we've talked about a lot, but it did a number on us in the fact of before COVID, things in life were pretty predictable, right? The sun comes up, the economy goes up and down. Uh,
Hmm.
we have some political conflicts around the world. I mean, those kinds of things. It was pretty predictable, but since COVID, I mean, all the rules have gone out the window, and things are
Yeah.
not as predictable as they used to be. And with that, people have reacted to it, and I think the whole world had a midlife crisis, so to speak, in the fact that, we really had to take stock in our lives of what is really going on in my life. What do I want to happen? What's happening today? how does
Mhm.
this impact me, and how do I want to go forth from this?
Mhm.
We had saw a huge change in the work environment with COVID. Everyone went home to work, 2 weeks to stop the spread. I always love that phrase because 2 weeks turned into 3 years, but whatever, I mean, hey,
Yeah.
we're just off by a few days.
Yeah.
But the working environment has changed since COVID. Many people are working from home, myself included, and I love it. And I will never, okay, future employers don't watch this, but I will never go back.
Yeah.
I'm like done with that. I love being at home. I love being able to throw a little laundry in, between whatever meetings or whatever.
Mhm.
Um, it really fits what I want my lifestyle to be. Um, and I think a lot of people are abandoning the work first mentality and,
Yeah.
embrace the whole I work to live. I don't live to work kind of
Mhm. Yeah. Other countries seem to do that really well, but we are not like in America, we are not wired that way.
right. Well, in our generation, Tom, we were taught from a very early age that your self-worth is based on the contributions you make to your work environment.
Mhm. Yeah.
We built our identities around our careers.
Mhm.
Um, and I mean, giddy up if that's what's good for you. But it's not for me. And it hasn't been for people in many countries.
Yeah.
Um, but we're catching up slowly but surely.
I have been seeing a trend of trying to help clients, especially, and I mean, this is going to be a wide bracket, but from like age 30 to like 55, who have been having that more existential crisis. And I think it speaks to your point of, there used to be like rules and predictability, and then also what was drilled into your head growing up. And now we're starting to not necessarily define ourselves by the contributions that we make to society or to our local communities, and also by what label we put on ourselves regarding career. And with technology and us being able to connect and view what other people are doing, we start to question, like, that who am I, not what am I, but who am I.
Mm,
And in that becomes, do I really like this career? Do I want to make a change to it? Do I really feel like a sense of meaning? And do I feel productive in the things that I'm doing? Do I want to do something else? Can I
mm,
stand to live in this situation, in this house, in this city, with this person?
mm,
Right, in this job, or do I want to make a major overhaul? And so that becomes really scary because when everything's flipped upside down, there's
yeah,
no stability. There's nothing to like stand firm on. And
mm,
then trying to choose, well, what's going to be the best? Do I stay in the level of comfort that I had already built, or do I make this significant change regarding
mm,
relationship, career, location, all of that?
mhm. And COVID showed us how vulnerable we really are. I mean, there was a lot of young people and a lot of people of every age that just died of complications of COVID. So,
Yeah.
our life is not as predictable as it was in the fact that, we're young, we grew up, we're 30, we're building our careers, we'll work till we're 65, we'll retire and, enjoy 20 years of retirement and life will be grand. That's what our plan generally was when we were younger, and COVID taught us it may not be the case. You may not make it to 65. You may not make it to 20 years of retirement. You may
Yeah.
not make it to next week.
Right. Tomorrow
So
is not assured.
tomorrow is not assured for sure. And when we're younger and 20 and 30 and we're like we have this like life plan, like I'm gonna go, climb the corporate ladder, or I'm gonna do XYZ in my professional life and build and become successful and or do whatever. And then we get to be this age and we're like, okay, well, I've done what I get, I've done some things.
Yeah.
Do I want to continue down that path? Do I want to continue to try to climb? Do I want to, or what is that I want? And we see
Mhm.
so many people, professionals, um, and some of the work that I do is I support a lot of professionals, executives, kind of people. And
Mhm.
so many of them are just like, bruh. I'm done. I just don't want to do this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great. I've done some great things and I'm proud of the work that I've done, but I don't want to spend the next, remaining years of my working career, 10, 15, 20 years, whatever that is. I don't want to spend that doing this. I want to do something that, um, something else. I want to do
Yes.
something different.
Something that makes me feel good.
Yeah.
You know,
That's great that I've been supporting corporate profits for the last 30 years, but I need to do something more meaningful.
right, absolutely. And so we have this beautiful opportunity to really find and craft, even if we have to create it for ourselves, a sense of meaning in the things that we're doing and what's going to be the most meaningful for you, regardless of, because the challenge in that is, well, I need to be able to pay the bills and I need to be able to provide for my family and I need to be able to craft like long term. But if tomorrow's not given, we talk about being in the moment and living for today, carpe diem, seize the day, memento mori, remember that at some point you're going to die, and that may be next week, right? Like living for today is really great, just it reduces some anxiety and some depression if I only have to focus on this moment and my day today and being
Mhm,
kind and doing the right things for myself to set myself up for success. But if you're in the camp of wanting to plan and prepare for the future, and that future is uncertain, it definitely shifts. I mean, like if you thought for a moment that tomorrow did not exist, you would live very differently today
mhm,
than you would if you have the next 35 years,
mhm,
uh, or however long, 50 years or something. And so we have to balance that out because I mean, you can't go out and just like quit your job and engage in, spend all your money and like
right,
there's got to be a healthy balance to that. So still kind of like planning for future success, but living more in the moment, and that becomes a challenge for a lot of people because they
mhm,
might be unhappy in their jobs, in their relationships, in their lives, or
mhm,
even in their bodies, in their minds.
mhm. I saw this, I guess it was a comedian, and he said, let's talk about this whole 50s group, right? They're the adolescents of old people. They just
Yeah,
started becoming old and they don't really know how to do it yet. So, they're it's that whole funny point where the kids are gone, right? So you don't have don't have a daily take caretaker role of taking care of kids anymore. A
yeah,
lot of time parents have passed, so they're just hanging out by themselves, and it's like, yeah, I got all this time. I have money now, right? I have
yeah.
more money than I was an adolescent. I have money, I have time. So what am I gonna do with that? How am I gonna pursue that? I'm not just gonna sit and watch TV. What am I gonna do?
Hmm.
Sitting and watching TV is maybe for your 80s, but it's not for your 50s. So, you
Right.
know, have a lot of, I mean, I ride motorcycles, so I see a lot of people that are weekend bikers, right?
Yeah.
That have a tie-in during the week, but on the weekend they're sporting leathers and, jumping on on bikes. So,
Yeah.
there's people are redefining themselves, and, living their second adolescence.
Hmm. You know, I think action is really the key. Doing something, engaging in some activities, even if they have nothing to do with you either making money or feeling productive. But, we talk about in therapy having hobbies, and it's such like a trivial throwaway thing. Hey, do you have any hobbies? And like, hobbies? Well, how is that really important? Well, it is because
Right.
it engages different parts of your brain. So if I'm spending, hours every day talking to people and working on mental health and emotional health and, looking at patterns in their lives and holding space and dealing with trauma. Like when I go home, I want to build a bookcase, man. Like I, right. I don't want to deal with any more like, cognitive or emotional stuff. I mean, I have to be present for, my family and for my wife and, to spend time processing her day and whatnot. But for the most part, I want to do something different. So it's so important to get into action and to do activities or engage in hobbies that are probably different than what you do on a regular basis. It's so vital, so important instead of scrolling on your phones or watching shows. I mean, you can have a little bit of that, but have a healthy balance of that because if you're bombarded with advertising and watching what other people are doing and you're not really living your life. You're just sort of getting by day to day.
So it's funny, the first time we start like a first session with a patient, you know, Tom has a great tell me everything. I love that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Tell me everything. I always start, tell me about yourself. And that first 30 seconds is so telling. You can read tons of things into what's going to happen in this therapy
Mhm.
session in the first 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And it's tell me about yourself. And when you describe yourself to me, you're telling me what's important to you. And, usually, a lot of times I will get the professional, my name's Brad. I'm a therapist. Oh, okay. And I have a family and this. And so you're telling me what your priorities are, right? By just describing yourself in a 30-second elevator speech.
Yep. It is it is very telling. I mean,
Hmm.
and I try to like always make some sort of banter or a joke. So, like I have a little fridge with water, and I say, "Hey, you want a water?" And I was tired of saying, "Do you want some water or something?" Because I really don't have a something. It's just I just have water in it, right? So I started saying, "Hey, you want some water or like a sandwich or something?" Sandwich, what?
All right.
Kind of throws things off. And so
I got some falafel in the back office break room if you want.
Yeah, some falafel balls in there. I can make it. And some tzatziki. Right.
All right.
So just kind of switching it up because, people come into the office and they have that mindset of what they want to accomplish. And it's not necessarily what needs to take place. And so I try to like shift and offer a little bit of humor and then really get to work on what's going on with them. And of course, they have their itinerary or they have some even come up with notes of all the things that they want to talk about. And that's fine. I want to try to like look up last session and see what we had discussed to see where we're, going. I try to make it like each session like a story, with a beginning, middle, and ending and kind of button it up so they leave feeling good or hopeful or inspired or with homework or an actionable step to take. So
Yeah.
anyway,
No, for sure. And we talk about what therapy is and what it isn't. I mean, it's what you want it to be. I mean, we're here to help you, support you in the changes that you want to make in your life. And, sometimes people just want validation that what they're thinking, doing is okay.
yeah.
Sometimes they need that external validation, which is okay.
Mhm.
Sometimes people need, some hard truths. Sometimes people are looking for the hard truths. They can't get their mind to, they know it, but they can't get their mind to wrap around it. So
Mhm.
sometimes, we have to figure out what it is our folks are looking to us for. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's support, sometimes it's the hard truth, sometimes it's validation, sometimes it's um, just talking through things.
Right.
I always say that like kind of the magic of therapy is um, we all have these weird thoughts that go through our head. We all do. So don't say you don't because you do, you little liar. Anyway, we all have these weird thoughts that go through our head. And they're
Mhm.
just thoughts. They don't exist. They're not real. They're just crazy kind of things that go through our head. And
Yeah.
therapy gives you a chance to say some of those crazy things out loud
Hmm.
in a safe environment where you're not going to be judged and not going to be repeated, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
Well, once you say those things, once those thoughts pass your lips, they become real. They're something that you have to deal with.
Right.
Um, and that's what a therapist can do is help you deal with some of those thoughts that are in your head. So,
Yeah.
sometimes it's like, am I crazy for thinking this way? Or, so we have lots of those experiences.
Mhm. When you have a therapist that says, you know what, these can be quite normal, I talk with a lot of people and hear a lot of stories and a lot of what seemingly is like crazy thoughts, and that can help to normalize it for them so they don't feel like something bad is happening or they're going to do something bad. We all have these kind of weird, intrusive, yucky thoughts, and it is okay to talk about it. In fact, once you get it out there and it becomes real, then you can analyze it and dissect it. And oftentimes it helps you just like throw that away or laugh at it and just be like, I don't need to put any time or energy into that. I think the important takeaway for today to offer some help, support, and an actionable step. And this goes to everything that we usually talk about, kind of always comes back to this. You don't necessarily know what you want out of therapy until you go through it and do it. You don't necessarily know exactly where that yucky stuff came from. I mean, we try to pinpoint, okay, this is related to when I was 6 and this thing happened, whatever. Um, but we don't need to necessarily figure out what the antecedent is. We actually can start taking actionable steps now. And if you have related to the things we're talking about, finding yourself in this midlife or existential crisis, instead of trying to figure out exactly what you need to do moving forward, like where you need to work or make a career shift or relationship shift or relocation or all that, that becomes so overwhelming. Let's just take these actionable steps, even if you don't figure out what the problem was, even if you don't figure out what your diagnosis is, even if you don't figure out what you need to do exactly moving forward to set yourself up for success. If you just do these simple things, putting good into you, consuming good food, healthy food, exercising, making sure you get sleep, drinking water, being kind to the people around you, being helpful and supportive. If you just do those good things, then eventually the answers will come. Maybe it won't be exactly what happened that caused you to feel the way that you do, but at least moving forward, you know exactly where you need to do. If you just keep doing these good things for yourself, even if you don't want to, being disciplined about it, you'll start to see the changes happen over time.
Mhm. Mhm. You know, I talk with people of that. Let's talk about alcohol for, and that's really great. That's perfect. But what it reminded me of is I talk to people about alcohol, people that have um, started developing, and people our age. This is coming up again. We have this, this new adolescence. People are drinking more than they have in the past.
Yeah.
And I talk with people about drinking, and what I tell them is, so, okay, you decided that you maybe need to cut back on your drinking. It's been problematic. You're waking up with a nasty hangover every morning. And, it's the whole thing of, gratification. Am I going to drink tonight and regret tomorrow? Right, with that nasty hangover? Or am I going to get disciplined tonight and just say, no, I'm not going to drink? And then you have the reward to the next morning where you wake up and you feel great and you don't have a
Right.
hangover. So, it's delayed gratification. We're back to that whole thing. So tell me what it is you want. You're going to get the immediate reward tonight by thinking you're doing the right thing,
Hmm.
or you're going to wait until the morning. And when I've said that to hundreds of people, and that one sticks with people. I hear that more often is, when I thought about that, it was Thursday and I was like, oh, the weekend's coming. I'm going to have a couple of the drinks. Like, wait, no, tomorrow's Friday and I want to not have a headache in the morning. So, I'm not going to do it.
If you have to take a pee test at 10 a.m. and you start drinking water at 9:50, it's not going to enable you to pee at
Right.
10 a.m. If
Mm,
you start drinking water the day before and make sure you're thoroughly hydrated, and then you get up early and at 8 and you start like consuming water, by the time 10 hits, you'll be ready to take that whiz quiz, I call it. So
mm,
it's and this goes to your point of planning things out. Like think about being disciplined right now in this moment and doing healthy things for yourself, not just because they're healthy or not just because you can feel good about it now, but because tomorrow and next week and next year, by doing these things now, they're going to set you up for success. So
mm,
just at least engage in healthy things right now, even if you don't see the positive result or consequence of it, you'll see it. Just keep doing those things. Consequently, if you engage in not so good or not so healthy acts, you know how that's going to make you feel. Like with the alcohol, well, right now I just want to pig out. And then you feel you don't sleep that well, and then you feel like crap, and you feel guilty, and there's shame. And you got, all right, tomorrow I'm going to be better. And then to cope with that like guilt and shame of either drinking or overeating or whatever, you need to you need to find something that helps alleviate some of that. So then you go back to the same thing that made you feel worse. And it's absurd, but we all do it.
Yeah,
I'm guilty
vicious
of doing
cycle.
that. So
Mm,
make these healthy, the time is now. Make those healthy choices for yourself
all right.
right now. Get out, go for a walk, drink some water, get some sunshine, eat some healthy things, make healthy choices regarding your diet, and make sure you rest and recover. The deeper you dig that hole, the longer it takes to fill in. So make sure you're getting adequate time off from the things that you're doing as well. Just go, 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 burning the candle at both ends. Eventually, you're going to crash and burn. So a healthy balance of all the things. And I know we've both made a lot of different points today. So I mean, I hope that you gain something from this,
Mhm.
some little takeaway.
All right.
Um, but yeah,
Well, hopefully, somebody will find something good out of our rambling.
yeah. So if you're related to that, and just it, at least you can do is make some healthy choices for yourself now, and find somebody that you trust, maybe who's non-judgmental, maybe that's a friend, or maybe even a therapist, where you can talk through some of these things. It's okay to talk through them. Just because it comes out and then now it becomes real, it doesn't make you a bad person. And it doesn't mean that your worst fears are going to be realized just because you're voicing them.
Well, if you liked what we talked about today, let us know at questions at therapyunzip.com. If you didn't like what we said today, let us know at questions at therapyunzip.com. And if you have something you'd like us to talk about, let us know.
Yeah, please reach out to us, comment, send us some questions. We want to engage with you guys, our dear listeners. So we appreciate everybody who is listening and getting some value from that. And we'd like some feedback as to how we're doing. What do we need to talk about? What kinds of changes do we need to make? What do you want to see? We want to be helpful for you. I mean, we're going to do it anyway because we enjoy each other's company and it's fun for us. And, but we still we find meaning and purpose in being helpful to others, which is why we're in the field that we are. This is who I am, not just what I am. Regardless of me being in an office, being a therapist. If I didn't do that and I, was in construction, I'm sure I'd find time to sit around and help people with their problems.
Mhm.
It's just who I am. So yeah, leave some.
Always great to see you, Tom.
Always a treat. Great to see you. I hope you have an amazing Labor Day weekend.
Yeah.
Have some fun and prepare for some cooler weather, hopefully.
Yeah. We're keeping our eye on that tropics. So far, so good. Let's keep it that way.
Is there something brewing out there?
There's a couple way out there. Nothing in the next week or so, but
Okay.
we'll see.
We're adaptable.
Of course.
We'll figure it out.
What is it? Adapt, overcome, persevere.
Yeah. Yeah. I know in the Marines we had this improvise, adapt, and overcome kind of saying, but same type of thing. We talk about just, being resilient and being adaptable and doing those things those good things, healthy things for yourself that helps you craft resilience. Anyway,
Well, you have a great weekend, Tom.
you too, man. I'll see you next week.
All right.
Thank you,
See you next
guys.
week.